But let's start with the first story. So this story from Fox News: sources believe coronavirus originated in Wuhan lab as part of China's efforts to compete with the U.S. You see that byline right there? Brett Baier. That to me is what made this legit. Brett Baier is like a straightforward news guy.
Yeah, that's what when I first said it, I was like, yeah, but it's the news. Like, how do I know I can trust it? And you were like, it's Brett Baier. And I'm like,
for real.
Oh, look, it doesn't mean anything to me though. So, I mean, for those out there, clearly Tim believes him because he's like a straight shooter.
I mean, he's boring.
Yes.
To the point, he's boring. Yeah.
Right. And that's not an insult. That's respect.
Yeah, that's the kind of news anchor that we need right now. Not trying to spin something, not trying to lie to anybody. Just here's the truth. These are the facts. Look, that's the news.
I don't know a whole lot about Brett, and I'm wondering if do I got this guy wrong? Is he really like some crazy opinionated guy? But the reason I don't think too much about him is because whenever I watch him, he's just basically reading the news. There's nothing and so it's like out of sight, out of mind almost.
Okay.
And so I've seen other people praising him, even on the left. And he's not one of these primetime, opinion pundits.
Okay.
He's like a regular news guy, very dry, very straightforward. He's reporting this. This means it is bigger than it's bigger than the other reporting.
I didn't think these they existed still.
Straight news guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because they're all becoming so desperate.
Yep.
No, but you've got like Bill Hemmer, I think is his name. You've got a handful of straightforward news people over at Fox.
Yeah, so they're out there.
Yeah, and there have been, as much as the left likes to rag on Fox, you've got these professors, these liberal journalism professors, praising daytime Fox News for being kind of boring, just like straightforward. But anyway, Brett reports this. He says, exclusive, COVID-19 originated in a Wuhan laboratory, not as a bioweapon, but as part of China's efforts to demonstrate that its efforts to identify and combat viruses are equal to or greater than the capabilities of the U.S. Multiple sources who have been briefed on the details of early actions by China's government and seen relevant materials tell Fox News. This may be the, quote, costliest government cover-up of all time, one of the sources said. The sources believe the initial transmission of the virus was bat to human, and that patient zero worked at the laboratory, then went into the population in Wuhan. Now, let's address the anonymous sourcing thing, which I'm not a big fan of.
Same here.
When you see these stories, you always got to look at the byline. That's where you're trying to derive your trust from. You see the New York Times do this all the time, saying an unnamed source. My favorite line, I think this was the New York Times. They said, according to sources familiar with Trump's thinking. Like, seriously? That's a real line.
Oh,
seriously,
my goodness.
What?
That's embarrassing.
They can read his mind. Brett Baier, on the other hand, though, is a straightforward news guy who's been praised by many people and many partisans on both sides. And this is where you can trust. If he's saying he's seen these documents and he thinks this is of merit, then I'm inclined to believe it. There's a lot of people that could have come out and said this, and I'd roll my eyes. But Brett Baier, he's got 1.4 million Twitter followers. He is a very high profile, straightforward news guy. I don't know what else to tell you, man. We ultimately choose to trust reporters. This is a major mainstream news organization telling us this.
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
Asked by Fox News' John Roberts about the reporting, President Trump remarked at Wednesday's coronavirus press briefing, more and more we're hearing the story. We are doing a very thorough examination of this horrible situation. Documents detail early efforts by doctors at the lab and early efforts at containment. The Wuhan wet market, initially identified as a possible point of origin, never sold bats. And the sources tell Fox News that blaming the wet market was an effort by China to deflect blame from the laboratory, along with the country's propaganda efforts targeting the U.S. and Italy.
Makes sense. That's why they were so quick to ban the consumption of wild animals, because they wanted to solidify that story.
Was that quick, though?
It was.
Away?
Within a month. I mean, for them to do that at all says a lot. So even that they did it, all I'm seeing now is they're just trying to solidify this deflection.
Make it the story.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Well, so now we're blaming the wild animals, so we won't eat wild animals anymore.
That doesn't even matter. Check out this story from the AP. What Fox has reported is, in a sense, corroborating other reporting from the Associated Press. China didn't warn public of likely pandemic for 6 key days. Check this out.
6 days.
President Xi Jinping warned the public on the 7th day, January 20th. But by that time, more than 3,000 people had been infected during almost a week of public silence, according to internal documents obtained by the Associated Press and expert estimates based on retrospective infection data. 6 days. That delay from January 14th to January 20th was neither the first mistake made by Chinese officials at all levels in confronting the outbreak, nor the longest lag, as governments around the world have dragged their feet for weeks and even months in addressing this virus. But take a look at that date. The delay was from January 14th. On the 14th, they knew. And do you know what the World Health Organization did on the 14th?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the tweet.
It's the tweet.
6:18 a.m. Eastern time. So what time was it over in China? 6 p.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're 12 hours.
Yep.
Here's what it says. Preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus identified in Wuhan. Sounds to me like the World Health Organization was purposefully misleading us, or at the very least useful idiots for the Chinese government.
Yep.
Who knew, according to the Associated Press, and withheld the information. But then why would the World Health Organization say this to us?
Yeah, exactly.
But
why?
then think about it. Is the World Health Organization lying to us? They said China told them this, right?
That's what they said, yeah.
All right, well, on the 14th, China knew there was human-human transmission. Did China lie to the World Health Organization, or did they know the truth, and then and who then lied to the rest of us? Somebody lied.
I bet they lied to the WHO, who then just believed it. They're like, oh, yeah, their scientists said it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
possible.
the optimism in me. Like, I want to believe them, but I don't know, because I have a hard time trusting anything right now until seeing that, like, the actual proof.
This is crazy because let me read this here. It says U.S. embassy officials warned in January 2018 about inadequate safety at the Wuhan Institute of Virology lab and passed on information about scientists conducting risky research on coronavirus from bats, the Washington Post reported Tuesday. This is all now being corroborated. I think it's funny that we all knew this.
Yep.
And I'm gonna give a nice hard shout out to people over at YouTube who are too dumb to let the people who do a good job on your platform report the news. Because as you guys may have heard from the rest of us, whenever we try and report on this, we get suppressed, we get deranked or demonetized.
Yep.
Welcome to how YouTube functions. Now, months after the fact, when we were doing reporting saying, hey, this looks like it may be possible, we're now seeing mainstream confirmation of what most of us already knew.
You called that.
It's incredible. Well, I mean, I was skeptical. And even Senator Tom Cotton was like, we got to entertain the possibility. You know, this is a thing they're doing. We even had that story from Nature. Let me see if I have this. If I have this pulled up. Here we go. Nature.com. Inside the Chinese lab poised to study the world's most dangerous pathogens from the 23rd of February, 2017. Maximum Security Biolab is part of a plan to build a network BSL-4 facilities across China. And this is a laboratory in Wuhan.
Of course.
And you know what's the funniest thing about these people? Nature.com went back in January, I guess, and they editorialized the article. Editor's note, January 2020. Many stories have promoted an unverified theory that the Wuhan lab discussed in this article played a role in the coronavirus outbreak that began in December 2019. Nature knows of no evidence this is true. Scientists believe the most likely source of the coronavirus to be an animal market. Why would they add that? For no reason.
And was it what scientists? Chinese scientists?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because that's what the WHO said that they got their information from.
Why go back to 2017 and edit this article? The information was sound, correct?
Yeah.
Then why change the source?
Right.
If we have information that could provide context, going back and changing it is suspect.
That looks so
Indeed.
shady.
I totally agree.
And you know, it's really funny too. The New York Times and CNN will like stealth edit articles. That's when they don't let you know they changed things.
Okay.
But here we get this editor's note. We just want to let you know.
January 2020.
CNN just got
like
busted.
What day in January too? Because January was a crazy month.
End of the month, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
CNN got busted writing Chinese propaganda as news.
Yeah, you mean ZNN?
CNN. Yeah, GNN.
I
That's
like
what.
that.
That's the thing going around. It's pretty funny.
I love it.
Check this out. Responding to the report, General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said Tuesday afternoon, "It should be no surprise to you that we have taken a keen interest in that, and we've had a lot of intelligence take a hard look at that. I would just say at this point, it's inconclusive, although the weight of evidence seems to indicate natural, but we don't know for certain. Americans were originally helping train the Chinese in a program called Prevent, well before the Chinese started working on this virus. The French government helped the Chinese set up the Wuhan lab. China, quote, 100% suppressed data and changed data, the sources tell Fox News. Samples were destroyed, contaminated areas scrubbed, some early reports erased and academic articles stifled. There were doctors and journalists who were disappeared, warning of the spread of the virus and its contagious nature and human-to-human transmission. China moved quickly to shut down travel domestically from Wuhan to the rest of China, but did not stop international flights from Wuhan. Additionally, the source tells Fox News the World Health Organization was complicit from the beginning, helping China cover its tracks. Trump announced at the White House coronavirus news briefing in the Rose Garden on Tuesday that the United States will immediately halt all funding for the WHO, saying it had put political correctness over life-saving measures. The United States is the WHO's largest single donor, and the State Department had previously planned to provide the agency $893 million in the current 2-year funding period. Senior administrations separately tell Fox News the rollout of the president's blueprint for reopening the U.S. economy will happen Thursday afternoon, first for governors, and then briefed to the press. They say, meanwhile, Trump's own handling of the crisis has come into focus. On January 24th, for example, Trump tweeted in praise of China's transparency on coronavirus. Though they were not speaking for the president, the sources ventured an explanation, saying it was diplomatic to make the Chinese feel good while the investigation was ongoing, with trade and other talks happening simultaneously. In the 6 days after top Chinese officials secretly determined they were likely facing a pandemic from a new coronavirus, the city of Wuhan, at the epicenter of the disease, hosted a mass banquet for tens of thousands of people. Millions began traveling through for Lunar New Year celebration.
Oh, man.
They knew. They had to have expected what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Or wanted it to happen.
The fact that they shut down traveling from Wuhan to anywhere else in China and then let anyone in Wuhan, oh, you're leaving China? Okay, we don't care.
Yeah.
That's
international flights. Go for
like,
it.
Are you kidding me? It's like
now
it's like it got out and they were like, oh, it wasn't supposed to get out on our territory. Well, let's contain it as much as possible and hope it hurts them more than it hurts us.
Exploiting it.
That's what it feels like.
That's why it's kind of crazy to me that they're saying it was an accident. Because, like, you put out all these stories, man.
Yeah.
Saying that they were withholding information, which hurt us and
Right.
caused massive damage.
Yep.
That, BuzzFeed News reported that Chinese trolls were trying to slow down the response in Italy and Taiwan. That's an act of aggression.
Yeah.
Why? So it's weird for me to assume that, like, some dude slips on a banana peel, this accident results in this major pandemic, and then there's like, let's roll with it. I mean, I guess it's possible, but it's like you're saying that everything they're doing to hurt us in this was like just fortuitous for them.
I mean, it's basically moves of war. They're moving the chess pieces, and we're just trying to, we're not even realizing we're playing this game right now.
Well, I think our military does.
I absolutely agree. That's why they came down on that the naval guy.
Yeah.
For making us look weak.
So what's truly fascinating about this story is that numerous mainstream outlets have slowly been walking towards this theory for a long time. I mean, I talked about this months ago.
Yeah.
Because we had a report that a researcher said, here's what we think happened. China suppressed the study. Now we have more mainstream reporting. But look, it's April 3rd, the trail leading back to the Wuhan labs. And they also did the same thing, like, we can't prove it. But here's more evidence. Yep. I think at a certain point, it's really fascinating to me how the media handles these things. Because it's like a dam breaking almost.
Okay.
You can see on the other side all of these bits of evidence piling up. You get to a point where a reasonable person says, I think I know what happened, but the media won't say it until finally they have a smoking gun. All of a sudden, then it's mainstream. Boom. Just one day. So now I see people on Twitter are going nuts with this. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify. And we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.